Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Now, for those of you who regularly watch my content, this is probably the first time you have seen me suited and booted. Now, the story is I've just purchased a suit and I came back home, I tried it on, and I thought, you know what, I feel quite comfortable. I feel quite fresh, quite relaxed. Maybe I'll sit down and film my video in style today. So here we are. Anyway, the point of today's video, the main topic I wanted to discuss, gentlemen, is the importance of cautiously picking the people in your surroundings, being very careful who you are friends with, because they have a huge impact on your life, the things that you get up to, your habits, your pitfalls, etc, etc, etc. If you are on self-improvement, I would say one of the most important things in your life is your surroundings, your group of friends, the people that you hang around with. And this is the case because, look, we are a product of the 5 closest people to us. You know, the 5 people we spend the most time with will heavily have an influence on our behavior, the things we do, the things we don't do, everything. I mean, there have been many studies that have talked about this and discussed the importance of external influences on the things that we do, maybe even the places we go, the job we have, the activities we choose to do in our spare time. They're all directly linked to the people that we spend time with, and that's very normal across lots of different societies. But the point today is to say to you, look, if you have got some friends that you are unsure about, you've got some friends that maybe you sometimes question as to whether or not they are a good influence on you. Maybe there have been times where they've really let you down. Maybe there have been times that you felt like you couldn't trust them. Maybe you've told them something in secret and they've gone and told somebody else and you're feeling upset, but it's a friend that you've had for a really long time, so you don't choose to act on it. Maybe you're not comfortable with the way that your friend speaks to you sometimes. Maybe they swear and raise their voice or speak to you disrespectfully. These are all very common things, unfortunately, in modern day society. I really see across the board that what it means to encompass friendship has really degraded in everybody's estimations. And these things are surprisingly normal. You know, I remember in my late teens having friends that ultimately weren't friends. I knew it deep down. They would speak to me in a certain way. They would make fun of me. And I kind of grew up in an environment where that sort of thing was just labeled as banter. You know, it's just a bit of crack, it's just a bit of banter. Don't worry about it, you know, we're just taking the mickey. But I knew, despite that it wasn't really banter, and that some of the things that were directed at me were intentionally provocative, intentionally disrespectful. And it didn't sit right with me, and I always had this gut feeling inside that, you know, one day I've got to step away from some of these people. One day I've got to break free of this friendship group, because I know that it's holding me back, and I know that the people in this group are not aligned with me morally. They're not aligned with the things that I want to do in my life. So eventually I did make that decision, and I split apart from quite a few friends, and right now I can say I have got a solid small group of friends. You know, I'm friendly with a lot of people. I don't really have problems with people, but I have a small group of very good friends who I feel like I can trust, who I feel like I can go to if I need anything, and who I feel are useful, competent people. But there was a time where I had to break away from the old bunch of friends, and I wanted to say to you, look, if any of the previously mentioned patterns you are noticing amongst your friendship group, such as disrespect towards you, taking jokes too far around you, you know, maybe even abusive behavior towards you sometimes, swearing at you, pushing and shoving you, you know, I mean, that's the extreme side of things. But if you're noticing any of these behaviors from your friends, it is my strong recommendation to step away. step away. You know, if you don't feel like you're being treated in the way that you want to be treated, you staying around only reinforces that behavior, because what it does, it lets the other person know that that behavior is acceptable. You know, if somebody punches you on the arm and it really hurts, and you say, hey, stop that, don't do that, but then you don't exit that relationship, you don't walk away and create distance, despite you saying, oh, please stop, that hurt, what you're actually doing is reinforcing the behavior, because the consequences are not severe enough. And sometimes in order to uncover whether you have a friend in front of you or not, you need to step away and create a bit of distance. You need to establish boundaries. And this is very important. You know, there are going to be times in every single friendship, I don't care who you are, that something is said, something is done that upsets one person or the other. That is when boundaries must be instilled. I mean, hopefully they're instilled anyway. But if you don't have boundaries within friendships, relationships, there is no line, there is no limit, there is nothing that these people can do to you that is too far. So if you're feeling like you're not being respected, if you're feeling like people are insulting you, provoking you, laughing at you, mocking you, and they're your friends, take a step back. Take a step back. You know, you don't want those people in your life. They are ultimately doing more harm than good. You know, I believe that a friend should be somebody that picks you up when you're down. I believe that a friend should be somebody that inspires you to work harder. You know, you're in the gym, you're training with your buddy, and you're feeling a bit tired. You're feeling a bit sleepy, you're not feeling like pushing too hard. And then your friend just looks at you and he says, don't be a bitch. And you know what? It fires you up. You say, okay, man, let's go. And because of that little comment, that little comment from your friend in the gym, who means well, you know, but just giving you that little reminder to push it a little bit more, you end up having a better workout. You end up pushing a little bit further, and then subsequently, in some small way, working towards achieving your goals quicker. They're the friends that you want in your life. Now, I'm not saying that every form of banter is inappropriate. Any kind of mickey taking is not acceptable. At the end of the day, we are men. We are men, and one thing we do as men when we come together, we have a little bit of a jab and a jibe at each other. But it is when it goes too far that it is not acceptable. It is when lines are crossed, and those lines are for you to decide. But if you haven't got those boundaries in place already, it's something that you want to implement. And if you don't feel like you can implement those boundaries, the relationship with that friend is probably never going to recover, in all honesty. Because if you can't insert boundaries today, if you feel like they're not going to be respected, if you do insert those boundaries, then unfortunately, my friend, that is not a friend. You know, that is just somebody that you spend time with. I found myself, before I severed certain relationships, trying to insert some boundaries, but they were not respected. And that is because ultimately they weren't friends. They were just people that I conducted activities with. They were people I drank with. They were people that I went to college with. You know, they were not friends in the sense that they were there for me. You know, that's the difference. So if you feel like you can't insert those appropriate boundaries, then it's not a friend that you have in front of you, but rather somebody that you spend time with. So the best thing to do in that situation, as I've previously mentioned, is to back off. Back off. And then the following thing you need to do is start going to new environments. Because I hear a lot of people talking about that they struggle to make friends, that they struggle to meet new people. And the answer I always have for this problem is to go to different and new environments. You know, Albert Einstein famously coined the expression, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you go to the same place, if you go back to the pub where the same people are there at the same time, you're not going to find new people. But if you go to a different place that you haven't spent much time at before or you've never been to before, you're going to meet people that you haven't spent much time with before or that you haven't met before. And subsequently, opportunities to form new, interesting and fun friendships are going to arise. But like I said, if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're just going to meet the same people, the same type of people. And they're the people that you want to separate from. They're the people that you want to take a step back from because they did some damage to your life and they did some damage to your personal development. So the outcome here, look, if you are struggling to find new friends and you're feeling lonely, you need to go to new places. So what does that look like? That looks like going to a coffee shop, taking your laptop, and hey, even pretending to do some work or just searching some stuff online, creating something to do and sitting there and eventually speak to somebody. That involves going to a library and speaking to people there. That involves joining different clubs. And I know these things kind of sound weird for men. We've kind of built up this idea that if you go to a club as such, and I'm not talking a nightclub, I'm talking like a club whereby you maybe learn skills, a club maybe you learn a language, etc., or a piece of, you learn an instrument, those sort of clubs. We've kind of made it a weird thing where it's somehow a bit lame for a guy to go and do these things. But those are the places where you not only learn skills and you not only socialize, but you have an opportunity to meet some wonderful people. Because the type of people that go to those places are conscientious people, which means they have it in their brain that they want to learn. They have it in their brain that they want to expand their current understanding of the world and develop different skills, and they're the type of people that will elevate you. So look, if you want new friends and you're struggling with the people that you've got in your life, it's good to go to new environments. It's good to learn new things. It's good to put yourself in different situations. As I said, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So you have to change that. So that would be my recommendation. Put yourself in a different environment to find different people. Maybe join a sports club. If you're not a member of the gym and you're watching this video and you've got this far, go and get yourself a gym membership. I mean, the people you meet in the gym will be some of the best friends you ever make in your life, and you're going to a place that is going to enrich your health. It's going to enrich your life. It's going to enrich your confidence. There are so many different areas of your life that will improve through doing these extracurricular activities, focusing on your health, focusing on your fitness, focusing on your socializing with different people. It's truly incredible what these activities and what these places can do for you. So look, if you are struggling to get rid of some bad people in your life that aren't helping you and find new people, I would suggest to insert those boundaries of what you will accept and won't accept from your current friends. Look, if they don't accept that, you need to step away. That's the line, and you draw the line. The boundary is up to you to set, so whatever you are willing to tolerate and whatever you are not willing to tolerate is your decision. But then once you've stepped away from that relationship, if indeed you do, then go to new places. Try new things. Put yourself in different situations. It's going to enrich your life in so many different ways. Look guys, that is all I've got for today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the subscribe button. I want to take this channel to 700 subscribers real soon. Got a goal for the end of the year to hit 1,000 subscribers, and every single subscriber counts, literally every single one of you. So if you took even a smither of value from this video today, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. As always guys, if you are interested, I am offering my one-to-one coaching services. There's a link down below, so if you are interested in hopping on a coaching call with me, click the link, book yourself a slot, and I will see you on the other side. Also, there is a link for my Discord down below. Join the community. It's a men's Discord community. We're all going to get together, chop up some game, and discuss some things in our life that we're happy about, not happy about, things that we want to change, and solutions to problems, etc. But we're all going to get together with each other and help each other level up in any way that we can. As always, guys, thank you for your time and attention, and I will see you in the next one.